Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Valence League. Thanks for tuning in. We've got just the one game today, but best of three, of course. So hopefully, of course, neutrals wanting all three. That's the best outcome. Sadly, I know in other casting the stomps have been quite frequent, but pretty even teams this time. And of course, we'll be testing Dark Virus's knowledge, who's with me today as well. So he'll be really stretched across the three games. We want that, don't we?
I mean, some people might. I don't know. It's quite fun to watch one team just take over a game and become a big nuisance. But we'll have to see when we eventually get into the draft and see what teams want to play. Of course, not the highest level of players generally in these games, but certainly hoping to get some good games out of them nonetheless. As it seemed fairly even across the board in terms of rank and skill. So we shall see as we are finally into the draft.
Yeah, should be a good one with IPL and Prime Zenith. Like you said, very kind of even ranks, MMRs, that sort of thing. And of course, while we're getting into this as well with the analysis, we should mention ProComp, which is our wonderful sponsor. So does some brilliant bit of technology to analyze matchups, to analyze the compositions as well. So
Just try and make your League of Legends experience a little bit easier.
yeah, exactly. So kind of like us talking to you, but it's done for you on a screen. So there it is. Should be on stream for you there as well, just to have a little look while we go through.
So big thing to note with Lux banned away, and it seems that our right side team, so the red side, sorry, have managed to miss a ban. I don't know whether that was intentional or I'm not quite sure about that one, but it seems very foolish to me not to ban away things you just either know your opponent are good at playing or something, but they may be missing another one, which if so is very bizarre here.
Yeah, they've got a few seconds. It might be.
Nope, I've just been told that the second team here, so the team on the red side, are using a sub for game one, and they have to lose 3 of their bans, which is kind of extreme.
Wowzer.
But there's a reason why you have subs on your roster, so you can sub them in and out without losing bans. So I don't know about that one personally. I think it seems a very harsh ruling, unless it's someone not on their roster, and then fair enough.
Yeah, so I think it was a sub for first game, and then they'll get it back for game 2 and 3, if there is a game 3. So but yeah, so a huge setback, isn't it? Really, I mean, in terms of the first drafting phase, I mean,
it's potentially a huge setback. It entirely depends on if these teams are picking up what is obviously considered the strong champions right now. So if you look at particularly pro play, you'll see Caitlyn, Jinx, Felios, and Jin as like the top 4 AD carries, and a lot of times teams trade that. But we're going to see the Viego lock-in, which to me is a little bit surprising to see Viego as a first pick. I think with Diana and Zin up and available, they're a little bit higher up on the list than Viego, but a lot of teams do like playing him. But we're likely here to have the Trundle as the answer. Trundle duels very well early on in the jungle. That pillar is very obnoxious to champions who have no ability to dash or get out of the slowing and get over that terrain. And speaking of one of the OPs, Caitlyn being locked in, and Caitlyn is probably the premier AD carry on this patch. Her just ability to push and push and push is so hard to deal with.
Yeah, pushes harder than a pregnant lady that's a month late.
Yikes. But it looks like the answer is going to be that Fresh alongside the Jinx. Jinx is arguably the better scaling champion of the two. Her rockets with that lethal tempo give her some crazy high range towards the late game. But of course, with Fresh, if he throws out that hook, has to kind of root himself in place for a moment. But Nautilus is going to come in to try and hopefully punish that one.
Yeah, good little combo there, of course, with the depth charge following with the traps. Really good combo. And you'll see as well, as we're going through this, just while there's a bit of a pause into the ban phase now, the pro-comp matchup analysis is doing wonders with the better split side on the side of Prime Zenith, but some really good protection for IPL. So keep an eye on that while you go through. But yeah, second ban phase at least can finally ban Prime Zenith with a Victor, obviously pretty strong just generally.
See, now, I already mildly disagree with some of the matchup analysis, personally. Caitlyn counters Jinx, not in lane a little bit early on, but certainly I wouldn't say is a complete hard counter to it by any means, as Jinx can match that range. Admittedly, will costing mana, but she can match it. And Fresh counters Nautilus. Technically, Nautilus counters Fresh just as much as Fresh counters Nautilus. So that being on there seems very, very strange to me personally.
I mean, it's always I mean, it's probably quite a new software still being developed. So but
Well, it's also this is things I hear from some of the high level players, some of the coaches and whatnot I have spoke to during some of the Dutch tourcasting that I've been doing. But back to the bans real quick. We saw the Blanc and Zoe banned away by our blue side, Victor and Gangplank by our red side, and that means Corki up and available, going to be picked away, and we shall have to see which build this Corki decides to go for. But Orianna considered a good pick into the Corki. We have seen, if you were watching G2 versus Vitality last week, you saw just how much work Pugs was doing on that Orianna into the Caps Corki, and he was just making life really, really hard work. But
really
we shall have to see what they want to take in the top lane, and it looks like it's going to be the Darius. Now, I'm in coordinated play. I am not the biggest fan of Darius.
Not picked much.
He is a reasonable counter pick into some matchups, certainly. But blind pick, there are definitely champions that can punish him, and with no ability to dash there, with a Trundle in the jungle, it's a little bit scary. And Kled being hovered and looks like he's going to be locked in, and Kled normally does pretty well into Darius because it's really hard for Darius to get that guillotine execute thanks to Kled riding Skull for most of his trading pattern.
Yeah, it's a pretty straight up counter there with the dash, avoiding the decimate healing. So
well, the thing is, Kled can dash into Darius because, of course, Darius wants to keep them at that perfect range to get that big heal, get that big damage, and Kled just kind of gets in range of that and gets inside that, and you're just like, oh god, he's hitting me, I'm dying, help, I'm not healing. But of course,
gets inside you, but
I mean, but of course, if Darius does get ahead, we know how oppressive that champion can certainly be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in terms of the jungler's focus, and if they just want to get that Darius to unkillable and lead the front, but hopefully the bot lane aren't too neglected with that potential Nautilus engage. But yeah, I think both compositions got some really good balance and some good potential on both sides. What's the verdict from you?
I mean, I'm going to have to give it to our red side draft here personally. As much as Orianna does do a good job in lane against the Corki, the Kled should have a perfectly fine time against the Darius. The Caitlyn and Nautilus should have a lot of pressure in this bot lane as well. But of course, we'll have to see how the junglers kind of switch those matchups, because if Caitlyn gets to a point where she's scared to push forward and scared to get that turret plate and turret pressure down, the pick suddenly becomes a lot weaker. If you do fall behind something like a Fresh and a Jinx early on, especially with Viego potentially flying in as well, under the cover of Shroud, Caitlyn's life could be really difficult. And we will have to see when we get into game. The later this game goes, however, I do have to slightly favour our team here on the left with Jinx, with Orianna, if they can land those big combos, a shockwave into that Jinx rocket, and even just Jinx's normal basic attack rockets can do a huge amount of damage in a team fight.
Yeah, really good combo there. But of course, with the Viego ultimate coming in as well, Heartbreaker, with the Orianna ultimate, that's lethal combinations. So Caitlyn's going to have to be really careful, of course. And Nautilus, not exactly like a disengaged support. So, there will be points, I'm sure, that she'll almost have to kind of fend her own positioning. So it'll be really interesting to see. I think ADC positioning now is a lot more important than it used to be. I think there's a lot more damage in the game, and I think that will show here, that's for sure, as we're just waiting for the delay before we get in, but
Yep.
still got a few seconds to kind of digress. So yeah, I mean, kind of where jungle's always a good kind of place to focus on in terms of how the game will go. So how do you think these two, the Trundle and the Viego, gonna
Well,
path the game out?
as I said before, Trundle very good at dueling early on. We'll have to see which rune choice he goes with to really see how his true dueling potential will be. His pressure attack is obviously gives a lot of early power, but lethal tempo is of course incredibly obnoxious on something like the Trundle. And with an auto reset in his queue, he can stack it up very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Viego, of course, if he gets even a single reset in a fight, we've all seen the montage plays of Viego literally 1v5ing and getting a pentakill after stealing champion after champion after champion. So we'll have to see whether he can steal the right champion and then whether he can pilot the champion he steals correctly. Not that, a lot of the champions he could steal this game are particularly difficult to play. But loading into the game, we can now see some of the rune choices and summoner choices, which is always interesting to watch as we see the pressy attack on Viego, which is a little bit surprising. It's probably the least picked one out of pressy attack, lethal tempo, and of course Conqueror, which is normally the one you see. Darius with no teleport is a interesting choice, of course, going to be very strong with the Ghost early on and stops him getting kited out quite as easily.
Yep, no worries.
Flag.
Yay. All good. Oh, hang on. Sorry, mine is having a bit of issue with mine currently. Sorry. Oh no, I've missed all of it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So we're just trying to make sure we've got the stream in sync with our clients, and of course, good old Sam here is
Sorry, just had a bit of a technical issue
the
there.
one person being a nuisance.
Yep.
Also, do not forget to order everybody, because awkward. And I've had mild spoilers of the future.
Yep. Okay, I'm on 0.
Yep.
Yep, all good. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone who's tuning in. Just always, we're off, are we? Okay.
We are? No, we haven't counted down at all, Sam. You're
Okay. Sorry. Yep. Sorry, hang on. Wait. Sorry, hang on. Go on, sorry. Okay, countdown again, sorry. Yep. And we're into the Rift, everyone. Thanks very much for the patience. We just had a bit of technical things to sync up, but we are just about to head on. The players are there. They are dashing off, just raring to go for that 15-second holding back. I'm sure they'd already be halfway across the map if that wasn't holding them back. But we'll see. There's a lot of level 1 shenanigans usually I've seen in the game. I don't know about you, but...
I already know there's a level 1 shenanigan in this game.
Oh.
Because
he's looking ahead as the Trundle is coming into the bush, going onto the blue side as well. He's just stuck a wall down for now, but the Darius is in the middle. They think they're going to catch him out. He's flashing away. The flash from the Trundle, a flash as well from the Kled just to shore it up. And that is, like you said, first blood to Red Team.
Yep, as I said, because we were doing all the syncing stuff up, I could see the timeline, see the marking for death on there. And straight away, there is now a flashless Darius in that top lane. And if you're Trundle, you are going to gank that non-stop at this point. You know, if Darius ever steps even with the river, I expect to see someone immediately jumping on him.
Yep. Yeah, certainly with the flash burn, yeah.
It does mean Trundle with first blood picks himself up that longsword to help his clear. That's going to speed things up just that little bit more. So maybe the gank timing is going to be a couple of seconds earlier than you'd expect, which could catch people off guard. Or he's going to use that very slight lead to try and get into the enemy jungle and be a big nuisance, as it is just a matter of clearing, as Corky getting stuck on minions a little bit there, which is always rather annoying. The other thing I want to see is how this Kled plays, because of course there's lots of mild nuance in what you can do with Kled, with not skilling up your W until you get popped off of your mount, to then use that attack speed to near instant remount, and whether it's a practice pick here or not. The grasp to me says maybe not so much, as you tend to see something like Conqueror, but
hook in by the Nautilus, good damage there as well. Thresh is going to activate his Q as well, but just nothing following up there, of course, with his low health. Meanwhile, Darius getting his low health as well. He's really feeling it now. Played just very obnoxious in lane.
Yep. A little bit unfortunate to see the Kate trap go down so late and not on target on the Thresh. That could have resulted in forcing a flash onto him if that was done a bit quicker. And I said about Trundle being a nuisance.
We've got the jungle. Trundle is really the king of the jungle at the moment. He's the troll king and now the jungle king. Yeah, Viego really struggling here. But we've got more action in the bot lane as well. Reflection has just got a bit too close to the turret. For FENC PGM, or Fnatic PGM if you want it, does get his first kill of the game. So 1-1 to balance out that first blood shenanigans.
Caitlyn had heal and another mistrap.
Yeah, and that's coming in as well.
Careless.
Professor Bing Bong, you are by yourself. You might get a kill onto the support. One more hit will do it. She's getting very low though. She's going to lose her own life for it. And even though she does get the kill, that is now 2 for this Jinx we said could be an issue later on.
Yep, both AD carries, of course, starting that Doran's Blade, which we haven't seen a lot of AD carries starting that lately. A lot of them have been going for that longsword free potion, so you can take that big trade, not trade quite as well as you'd like, but able to heal up after. But we don't see it, and we see Jinx picking up 2 early kills, which... Oh, and we said Darius has no flash.
Early kills, yeah, he is on his own. He's activated the Ghost. That's not really going to get him anywhere. He does activate the Apprehend to slow, which does slow very briefly, which is a nice little kind of Darius main trick that people do that don't realize about. So just gets out of there in the nick of time.
I'm honestly surprised he got away with that one.
Yeah, it's a nice little trick, that.
But Jinx picks up, thanks to those 2 kills, those tier 2 boots, so he's going to be quite happy in lane against Nautilus, dodging out them hooks.
Yeah, good option to pick.
Trundle's already got himself a Sheen, so in those short burstier trades, he is going to do a lot of damage. And you've really got to respect the amount he can do. However, if we look at mid lane, which obviously we haven't had to look at much because it's a Corki with a Carl versus an Orianna, there's not much going to happen here. However, it appears Corki is getting the better of a lot of these trades, even though, generally speaking, if you're picking Orianna into the Corki, you really want to be making use of that passive, of the fact that your ball is very similar range to Corki's auto attacks. And
yeah,
Orianna doesn't look maybe as practiced as it should do, but at the same time, it's only a 6 CS lead, so it's by no means the end of the world. But
yeah,
you'd think if you're going to...
But now with bot lane is where the action is. A flash from Gollum the Geek. Greek or Geek? Yes, Geek. There we go. But flashes away to safety, of course. I'm sure Trundle will be back very soon to have a more successful gank.
Yep, and we have passed the 5-minute mark, so we've got flashes back on.
And the mid lane getting some action as well. Aken really trying to make a mark here. No kills or assists just yet. But of course, he is across in the red side jungle you see there, trying to make a difference.
Yep, I'd like to have seen Orianna try and maybe Shockwave to pull the Corki in to try and force out the Valkyrie before Viego arrived. But nonetheless, all the mana burnt from this Corki, but Corki's still yet to go back.
Just feels so oppressive there. The Kled just really seems, when you just don't do any damage to him, eventually he has been knocked off. So precarious now.
As much as Cled's been dismounted, he should build that bar back up as long as he manages to last hit this wave nicely. And speaking of an annoying
oh, he's back again. Yeah, the Trundle is in. He's being a nuisance. He's forced the flash from the Viego, who's only level 4 compared. I mean,
well, they're both level 4
as well. I thought I'd saw a 5 there, my mistake. But of course, he is a lot stronger at this stage. So he will simply take that Gromp away, which does actually just match the farm. So he's going to obviously go back and take his own farm to push that lead ahead now.
Yep. Taking a quick look, it seems that Cled has decided to go for the Bramble Vest, so probably going to go for that much more tanky build. So something like the Sunfire with the Titanic Hydra is what I expect to see here. Darius might be looking to match him with that double cloth armor in the inventory, but we'll have to see how that one goes. Corki obviously working towards the Mana Moon, very, very common. Orianna picked herself up a tier and now working towards that lost chapter, which will make her laning phase much nicer if and when she gets to that item. Or whether she's able to get a nice big lead and able to just buy an item outright, which is very unlikely, but you never know. Dragon's been up and available for a couple of minutes now, and no team has looked towards that. Herald, however, spawning in 10 seconds. I'd love to see with this pressure in mid.
Yeah, we've got a bit of an engage on the top as well. Kled is a level ahead, but we're focusing back onto the bot lane. An early flash from the Jinx is going to get away, but Thresh, of course, he did burn that flash, and we did say the Trundle would be back to get his vengeance, and in the end, indeed, Golem Nagit goes down. The kill going over to the Trundle.
Yep, very nice. The kill went to Caitlyn.
Caitlyn, sorry, my bad.
It's fine, which is exactly where you want your goal to be. It's where you want your goal to be, so they're going to be quite happy with that one, as they're just respecting the Darius a little bit here. I just don't want to give them a lead and continue pushing, but we said if this Caitlyn is able to keep pushing, she's going to be such a nuisance, as the first tower plating is not long for this world by the look of it. But no team's going for, as I said, the Dragon, no team's going for Herald on spawn. However, Trundle's going for the blue, and it looks like he's spotted out and into trouble.
Ultimate has been activated. Darius is by himself. He's got Viego just off to the left, off to the right, who's not going to really actually get involved. So Darius is going to do that old apprehend trick again. Trundle will just settle for the blue buff in the end. His team were nearby the Darius, but decided just to step off there.
Yep, Darius having to burn both summoners to get away, with Trundle being able to take away the blue buff, so he's going to be quite happy denying that from Corki. That's good.
He's not done yet, though. He has activated the ultimate as well, and we're going to turn our attention back to the bot lane in the end. Jinx with a depth charge, but manages to get back in the end. A hook onto the Corki. He's got one more turret hit. He should survive that. There is an ignite popping as well. Meanwhile, Darius is going in for the kill. The Orianna gets her kill onto the Trundle. I think they've just overstayed their welcome. In the end, IPL, they managed to defend their own jungle and gets a double kill onto that Orianna with the kill on the Corki as well, which was off screen.
Yep, 2 kills to this Orianna. Feels very good at this point, and there is the Herald being started. You know, if you're going to take that, you want to take it fairly early, cash in those tower plates, get that extra gold for you and whoever else you decide to share that with. If you can break a tower with it, feels even better. But Trundle overstaying in the jungle along with the Kled, and they get punished heavily for it, which is what you want to see. If people are going to be like this and be this aggressive, if they do it without priority in the right lanes, and punishments should come in like this one, as just getting spotted out by a ward. Actually, quite a useful little trick as Viego to be able to just pop your shroud along every wall and run around to see if there are any pinks in your jungle if they're spotting you and yourself.
Yeah, good little tactic. Corki getting a lot more aggressive now. He's got some good damage. One more rocket would have done it, but Orianna just manages to save her blushes. I'm not going to try and pronounce that summon name because I'm just going to go for champion.
Well, my concern there about Orianna is watching her not try and trade back at all, watching her not speed herself up or slow the Corki away, and was just running without kind of being able to get anything while running away. As Trundle manages to get the ward before it goes, and he's going to get this one as well, thanks to Sweeper. So a
Now
nice
ward
bit of vision
collector.
denial. What's that, sorry?
He's now a ward collector as well.
Yep,
And is
absolutely is.
looking onto the bot lane
Oh.
as well. The Q connects onto the Nautilus. The ace in the hole just for good measure. The smite as well, but the heal saves him in the end. That was quite incredible. It seemed to be a sure kill there, but of course Thresh, being the tankier of the two bot lane, does manage to walk away with just a heal bend.
Yep, very unfortunate for Trundle to use his smite there, especially if they are looking towards this dragon, but it looks like they're not going to, backing away, which I think. No, they are going to look
They
for
are
it,
going
and
to
even
focus it. Yep, makes
Trundle's
sense.
about to have his smite back, so this shouldn't be a problem. Unless,
Yeah,
of
he's
course,
just
the
waiting
Jinx
for it
steals.
to.
This dragon resets.
Yeah, it
They
did. Health
mistank
did
it.
go up a bit. Viego is on the side, but he's just too far away, waiting for the smite, I think, like you said, just to come back to make sure of it. And first dragon over to Prime Zenith.
Yep, nice to see them pick it up, although it is quite a late first dragon. You have to.
Yep, you still there? Oh, we seem to have lost Dark Virus briefly. But he just a bit of dragon chat there. Maybe the dragon gods had pushed him out, but so I'll just try and do a bit of casual if anyone had seen that on the LEC stream, and do the solo cast for now until we get him back. As we see a lot of clashes in the top lane as well. Kled just really making his mark now. Darius trying to return fire, gets that 5-stack on his passive, and Kled's going to have to walk away from that. Some good defending at least from the Darius. And you're back.
Yep, there's my sound being completely goddamn useless because
Yep.
for some reason it just dies randomly, and I don't know why, and I can't fix it. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
I have zero reason or idea why it's doing it, and it's really stupid. But
Switched it off and on though, that was the trick. Death Sentence
literally.
does connect onto the Nautilus this time. Maybe they get the revenge on the support. The Caitlyn did unfortunately walk onto the grenade, so couldn't really get involved there. And fortunately, Jinx Rocket is available. Super Mega Death Rocket connects and executes Reflection. He is down in the end, a killing spree, but will Trundle be able to return fire in the mid lane? No. The flash away on the Orianna manages to keep that kill in the bot lane a positive side for IPL.
Yeah, but I've got to say it's very, very careless of Nautilus to walk back in there. He should have known the Jinx Rocket was up and available, and get popped by it. He should have backed right away, not stayed under tower.
Yep, pretty simple kill.
Took the recall, but
oh, the flash, it was, or Hex Flash it was, yeah, that's what I meant to say. But Corki, of course, pretty mobile champion, so easily getting out of that. But a good little kind of warning sign to the mid lane, not so cozy there anymore.
Yeah, well, it's quite a bit, fairly long cooldown and costs quite a bit of mana, so burning Corki Sakri always feels good. But we've got first items coming in for both junglers here, both going for that Divine Sunderer, and both marksmen have, of course, finished their first item as well, along with those tier 2 boots. So they're both quite happy with how this game is going, as the farm is incredibly even right now.
Yeah, it is pretty even, about 800 gold difference in the lead for the side of IPL. So obviously
That'll
just
be
like Jinx,
mostly that plate gold.
yeah, it'll be the plate, of course. But Jinx looking pretty healthy. Now we've got some more engaging into the river. The Viego, of course, he is maybe a level ahead, but still probably going to be out-dueled by the Trundle there. I think actually, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of a confidence thing, isn't it, in League of Legends? When you're dueling, as these two certainly have the confidence to take on each other. They're not going to back down. The Darius, he's about half health, of course, gets with the Decimate the health back. The flash away from the Kled, he's not too sure. He, of course, does still have that passive coming off. I can't even never remember the name of his mount, but I still think he probably would have won that fight. But again, I was saying like the confidence thing. It's like, can you take that duel? And I thought that Viego probably could have taken that. Maybe just...
Viego definitely would have won that one with Red Smite. With Mercy attack, he would have been a lot stronger. However, of course, Trundle is certainly by no means someone you want to mess with if you are unsure. But
This is true.
because Red Smite would have done a huge amount of work in that fight. However, of course, Trundle removing those stats from you, it's really hard to judge at times what the
Yeah.
correct play is. As we're
Well,
seeing Kled
talking of
going in
ultimate,
top
yeah,
lane.
going in top, but we're going to move our attention back to the mid lane. Corki manages to avoid the shockwave, but flashes out again. A lot of flashes being burned in this little saga in 15 minutes slot, but in the end, across those two lanes, no kills in the end.
Yep, Corki, the shockwave from the Orianna was unfortunately quite late there. So Corki flashing away, got hit by the Viego ult. Viego flashing out of the tower range. Possibly could have picked up a kill and then Valkyrie'd out, but didn't want to take the risk. Which
Yeah,
I
always
can
better to be safe than sorry.
understand. I mean, I'd have gone for it personally, but I'm a psychopath. As Kled getting some good tower damage here, thanks to that Demolish proc and the attack speed proc of his W. Fresh sees cheeky ward, but looks like Dragon is going to be the focus. There is a control ward in the back of the pit with Orianna TPing in as well. This is as good as gone. So
yeah,
the Dragon control we saw earlier, unfortunately, has been given up a little bit.
And
But
good
we are
news
going
is,
to see the Hextech Dragon here.
yeah,
The Hextech Rift.
Hexol with those gates as well, but we did see this time, as has been notorious, that we always missed the Rift Herald. But this time, of course, since it was the same time as Dragon, we can safely say that it was taken.
It's because the client doesn't tell you it's been taken. There's no announcement for it other than the noise, which you only hear as a player, not hear as a spectator, which is really stupid.
Yeah, the ones actually that need to tell what's
being
going
dropped
on. But there you go.
in this mid lane. The second Herald, of course, nowhere near as valuable as the first, as you cannot get tower plates with it.
Yeah,
But as
really
long as you,
nice there.
But generally speaking, the second Herald you want to use to break either a tier 2 tower in one of the side lanes for that 600 gold that they have, or that mid lane tower if it's not gone down. And being that no towers had gone down yet, in my mid lane tower was the obvious choice. Kled and Darius are fighting again.
Yeah, they're still at it. They're really wanting one of them to win this battle. So far, it's just been back and forth. Of course, no flash on the Kled this time. Just going to try and get Kled off his horse, or weird Skull. That's the one. Thanks very much. Not a Kled main, as you can tell, but once he pops him off that, then of course Darius is in the driving seat, but cannot quite secure the kill just yet.
I love Kled. Kled's got some of the best voice lines in the game. But we are seeing that tank Kled, of course, and Darius is very good at fighting tanks in those long drawn out fights. So no surprises that Darius is winning this one at this time. More wards being cleared. Both teams keeping up their vision game strong, which is nice to see, as you don't often see it on players of this level. But with people telling you what to do, a lot of the time it's very easy to be like, "Come on, get your wards, buy them, just do it, buy them."
Yeah, not always the first thought, but yeah, like you said, you can now, of course, see ward scores in this day and age of League of Legends. So, you can always actually even now track if your support is doing their job. But of course, we can see there that across the board, not just jungle and support, that actually mid laners and tops are doing a good job of the wards as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean everyone's vision score is okay. Kled and Caitlyn have the two worst.
Yeah.
Along with the Corki. So if you actually look, Red Side's vision score is certainly falling behind here. And we can see that a little bit in the kill lead. So, of course, Blue Side with with a few more kills here and starting to take objectives away. Viego looks like he's going for that Blade of the Ruin King as his second item, which is a little surprising to see. We often see things like the Hysterics Gauge second to...
Or Death Dance.
Just to help him survive and get that first reset in a fight and be that big menace that he can be. Of course, going for Blade of the Ruin King does give you more damage, but a lot less survivability. So it's kind of 50-50 which one you think is best. Personally, I think, especially against something like a Trundle, I think Hysterics Gauge is a very good choice here, as it gives you that survivability without giving you any actual tanky stats for him to steal away.
Yeah. And I think one thing as well, as someone who plays Viego a lot, is magic damage is kind of his weakness. So that Corki can really, almost one-shot that Viego late game. He's got no magic resist, bonus magic resist on him at the moment. Whether he goes, for the more later on, but yeah, so that will be the one chink in the armor there. But going for the Q Nautilus with the flash does happen. The depth charge in as well. The ace in the hole. Will they get him down? Does ult away? Is he going to get away? No, the subjugate takes him down in the end. Really good coordinated attack there from Prime Zenith to take down the jungler. And the top lane coming in, unfortunately, Dark Virus I think may have cut out. So gonna just carry on here. A lot of
I'm
flashes
tired
down,
of my
bit of an issue. It's
mic
all
not
right.
working right now.
No problem. Flash over the wall. The Thresh has to escape there, and we'll just have to walk away because now Prime Zenith, although they may be behind in gold, they are really stamping their authority in the blue side jungle.
Yep, with 2 items on your Corki, 2 items on your Caitlyn, you are very, very strong right now. Orianna still yet to finish her second item, but of course, we see another hook land.
Another hook onto the Thresh. He is getting hooked instead of being the hooker, and he's just going to have to try and walk away. Has no flash, of course. The outer turret is still there, but meanwhile, while that's going on, we're going to focus back into this classic battle in the top lane. Darius really getting closer and closer to that kill on the Kled, but still not quite, of course. It does have the Sunfire Aegis now on that Kled, will make it really difficult. But in the end, Prime Zenith, they will focus the Hextech Dragon and take their second dragon of the game.
Yep, I have to say that Trundle Pillar onto the Thresh was a bit disappointing. Did knock him away from his team, so kind of saved him a little bit there with that one. As very unfortunate, but it is easily done. It looks like they might be considering a dive in this top lane, but Corki knows, and the poke at this point from this Corki with that Mana Moon finish, with that Luden's finished, is incredibly high, of course. But the weakness of it is if you do get onto him, if he gets hit by any bit of crowd control, he will die very, very quickly. And of course, one good shockwave, one good Jinx rocket, or like 2 or 3 Jinx autos, and Corki's going to be out of the fight. But we can see, as much as there was a tower shot in there, the damage slowly starting to come in from Corki.
Yeah, of course.
Both Darius and Kled probably going to get that Bramble fully finished fairly soon, although Kled may stop for that Titanic Hydra, because we can see he's starting to get a bit of the wrong side. As no, the cannon, Corki, what are you doing? Why are you?
Oh no, and the Kled as well. Oh no! All the cannons have gone. It's not a day to be a cannon.
No, it's a great day to be a cannon minion. You're not getting killed for your gold.
Yeah, you're just getting killed for no gold. That's even worse. But he's activated the ghost. The depth charge is gonna be used just to try and negate that as well. Of course, Kled has just backed as well, so he's got no top laner to run back to. The 5 procs on the passive. The dredge line does not connect. It's only a matter of time, and Aken actually steals the kill in the end with his ultimate, just with that shield stopping the Darius ultimate in the end.
The bleed would have very much finished him off on
exactly.
The
he would have got
the
kill. I know. So feels a bit BM there from his jungler, but Darius might eat his own words now. Flashes in quite the style across the pillar just to get out of there. Yeah. new effect for Decimate, flying across pillars, but
oh god, could you imagine if that thing gave him a dash?
Oh my
jump?
gosh. Yeah.
Almost like Strikebreaker had its dash taken for a reason.
Oh my goodness me, a dashing Darius was not what any ADC wanted to see.
That's why I was perma-banned in my games. But we are seeing items across the board slowly come in. Looks like Trundle's going for that Blade of the Ranking second item, and I'm going to be honest, I don't like that. So,
no, I understand.
Can get away with it a little bit, but Trundle, you want something like that Titanic Hydra to help you actually clear your camps. And he is falling down quite a lot farm at this point because he has no AoE to clear them. Diego is very strong at power farming and has been allowed to do so in this game, while still keeping, effectively the same scoreline as the Trundle, just flip the kills and assists. So it's a little unfortunate here if you're Trundle not able to push that early lead that you're able to get quite as much as you'd liked. Orianna's probably sitting on quite a nice chunk of gold as she is starting to recall, and there's that Archangel star finished, and another
Oh,
Blasting
he's
Wonders
activated
here.
the ultimate into the pit and then flashed away just to get out of there. Good job. He's a very mobile champion, yeah. But as you were saying, yeah, I mean, at least a Tiamat on the side of the Trundle would just kind of help that clear time.
Or even start to tank up a bit yourself. You know, Trundle's got to run in, be that front line this game, and maybe you could argue it. But, you know, we'll have to see how it plays out in the end, as we have a very small gold lead at the moment in favour of our blue side, but it is only small, and we'll have to see how good these teams are at finding a lead and finding a way to actually win the game. Because right now, both teams are doing a whole lot of nothing at the moment. However,
Yeah.
50 seconds for this dragon. Maybe we shall see a team fight happen here, as very nearly lands that hook.
Yeah, very close. Stepped away. Good dancing shoes on this time for Gollum the Geek. Darius finally takes down his outer turret. Well, not his. You know what I mean, as in he does his duty of the turret.
Playing outer tower.
Yeah, that's the one. Tried to be cute with the words there, but the focus, of course, is on this dragon, which is coming up in about 20 seconds. So still a bit of time to maybe have a bit of a team fight before Ace in the Hole activated early. Dredgeline does not connect either, but Kled is right into the mix. He is popped onto the Orianne as well. Of course, Kled very tanky. Fortunately, the passive did miss a shockwave, but in the end, it's the Caitlyn that takes down the kill. Corki gets a return for his team 1-1. Caitlyn, though, is being so strong in these team fights, gets a second kill. Unfortunately, Darius, he is too late to the party. A double kill for the side of Corki, and all of a sudden, Prime Zenith, it was maybe back and forth, but they have really taken advantage in this team fight.
Go Baron. Please to go to Baron right now. Baron is the correct call. Do it. Do it. No, just go to... Take the dragon and go straight to Baron. Come on, like, you've got 15-second death timers. There's no reason not to take
just
it.
too much damage. Although Thresh really withstanding very well, walking away from the turret slat. Of course, that passive will be activated. Tries to get the death sentence, but unfortunately, not aptly. There is no death this time. A bit of an exchange, but yeah, didn't go for the Baron. But nonetheless, they will be taking 3 turrets out of this, which is not a bad trade in the end.
No, but Baron would give them a wink on that they are very much looking for. However, they are now on Soul Point, which is very much where you want to be, as Corki is in so much trouble.
He's flashing away, fortunately, but won't be able to be taken down in the end.
Not long on that Viego. Well, maybe he could have chased that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Randall taking the red buff here, which is a little surprising. I think your 4-1 and 3 Caitlyn probably deserves it at this point in the game, especially on that 3 item mark. So, you know.
Nope, selfish junglers, that's what we're here for. I can relate.
Yeah, it's fine being a selfish jungler if, you know, you don't have a Caitlyn who is this strong right now.
Yeah, who does Flame Horizon over you as well, but there you go. Almost, not quite.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, still, at least it's not, just a pop around the corner saying hello.
Handshake and disappear, as neither of them particularly won that fight, even though Viego would certainly win out at this point. But without knowing where the rest of the team is, decides to back away, which is entirely the correct choice here. As we're seeing a lot of Bramble Vests in inventories here. Nautilus has picked one up, Fresh has got one, Darius has that full Fawn Mail, of course, and Kled has had that Bramble Vest for a very long time. In fact, his first item. So, really respecting healing here, maybe respecting it a little bit too much. You could argue, as Hexgate's being used, but Nautilus Spider-Manning his way on out of there.
Yeah, probably more Batmaning, really, but sure.
Spider-Man, you web sling out the way.
Yeah, Batman's got a grapple, though, doesn't he? But anyway, back into this one, League of Legends. Gollum the Geek, he's trying to ward. He's just trying to get some vision for his team. I think he's got a bit too much vision because he's back at the fountain.
However,
his team have got the Baron, though, which is a huge sacrifice, and that's the support, the ultimate sacrifice for his support. IPL just trying to get out of there now, but Darius, he seems to be engaging. Don't think you're going to win that fight, unfortunately, buddy. Orianna taking so much damage from this Corki. You can see why it is permaban just across amateur, across the pro scene. And Jinx is the only one left. Darius actually is in the top as well, I should say. Still surviving. I think he's going to be able to quick recall as well, before the Trundle gets there. And in the end, It's the three of them that just come out with the Baron buff.
Yep, with Oriana and Fresh losing Baron, certainly feels good to pick those up on the back of the fight. However, Baron on 3 people, you've got it on your Darius, who wants to split push at this point in the game. You've got it on your Jinx, who wants to be one grouping up. So
Yeah, she wants to group up. She
speaking of
does not
Jinx,
want to be by herself, but Corki is also by himself. The ultimate comes out from the Viego, and that is his first real meaningful ultimate. But he's caught by 4 members now of Prime Zenith. He gets taken down straight away. Darius, of course, is very tanky, has got a lot of armor. There is no real AP damage now on the side of Prime Zenith, so he's going to sustain that a lot. Getting death sentence onto the Trundle as well, but he's just going to go down and down. They're going to knock him down in the end. And Brampam is the one that gets the kill, but I think some really good relentless damage from that Caitlyn, I think, was the answer to that.
Yep, Caitlyn just sitting back, plinking away, which is exactly what she wants to be doing in these fights. If you allow her to free hit, she will put out a huge amount of damage. However, it is 50 seconds to this dragon, and it would, of course, be that Hextech Soul for our red side here, who have taken the kill lead and the goal lead and the turret lead and kind of every other lead you want to look at here.
Yeah, there is no 2 ways of looking at it, really, is there?
Trundle is now deciding to pick up a Titanic Hydra, which, as I said, I'd like to have seen a little earlier, but
Yeah,
1-7 certainly having a good game for himself as Blue goes over to Corki, which is a good thing to do. However, Viego could be in a bit of trouble.
Activated. Anton is just there. He tried to grab it in the end, but just too much damage from that Corki. It's just unbelievable. The Void Staff now there. See, this is what I was saying. Viego, you don't get any magic resist. You are going to be chomped and eaten alive by any heavy magic damage dealers as shown there.
Yep, so that is going to be
he's taking it away! Oh, just as you were... this is why... I know, this is why I didn't want to say anything. I think it was more than 900 still. That must have been more than 900 health, I think.
It definitely was a smite. Oh my god, that Corki damage.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. But, I mean, obviously the thing you do that, the junglers usually say is, some junglers are better at taking because they can combine, like the Lee Sin can have a really good combination.
I mean, Trundle's got his
goes bites. Yeah, no, exactly. This is what I'm saying is that it still wasn't an excuse.
It is a big mistake here from blue side team, red side team to lose that dragon there. However, it has to be said, Jinx stealing it feels real good right now, as Jinx's 3 items working towards her 4th, which I'm going to assume will be that Lord Dominic's regard, and a 4-item Jinx can certainly win you a team fight. We said it at the start during Champion Select. Oriana into Jinx damage could easily win any team fight potentially, but
yeah, for sure.
We'll have to see whether they can pull that off, because so far these Oriana ults haven't been the best, which is unfortunate, but it is very much a difficult thing to do to get those big game-changing ults.
Yeah,
we shall have to see whether he can pull it off.
Yeah, not quite landing those shockwaves like you said, but the Jinx, with that Kraken Slayer compared to maybe before the item all changes, it's nice to have that damage. Oh my goodness. Talking of damage, it's just insane how that can be possible on one rocket. I mean, I never understand how. I mean, it's got to change soon, hopefully, but...
Well, what they're doing to Corki is nerfing the package, which is honestly the correct play.
Yeah, that is always...
one of Corki's biggest strengths is having the package around these dragon
fights. I mean, it's basically a Rumble Ultimate, really, isn't it?
It's much more. It's like 7 Rumble Ultimates.
Yeah, the Shockwave just missing there with the Corki Flash, so of course the Shockwave will come back sooner than that Flash, so he won't be able to save his blushes next time, but...
That is a very good Shockwave. This is what you want to see. You want to be... Sometimes you just want to look for the picks with it, because one good Shockwave. No, Oriana. No. Leave.
Stay back.
Leave. You don't have Shockwave
they're looking for
on
the
your
fight.
Oriana.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight right now.
Yeah, still about 20 seconds away, but managing to clear the ward at least. Both teams pretty respectful still. Of course, Prime Zenith, they do have a bit of a lead, but they don't have that soul. So still respecting IPL and can still see clearly that they may lose the next team fight and it can all turn around.
Well, all our red side want to do is group up and siege. You've got Caitlyn, you've got Corki. That's a lot of poke damage. You want to be trying to poke down these towers, and they're not trying to do that. Try and
Yeah.
corral, try and get blue side to be corralled into their base, so you know there's not going to be vision behind you for the Baron that is spawning in 15 seconds time. However, Kled pushing in the bottom wave, of course, has that teleport, can join a fight should it break out. And it looks like this Baron is just going to be taken on cooldown, and there is just going to be no contest on.
No, Viego in the bot lane here, so I think they're just going to look for that one kill as a kind of consolation maybe, but even that, Kled, of course, with that ultimate can just simply dash away, so a very simple Baron in the end for Prime Zenith, and hopefully the last lock in the key does get the apprehend onto the Kled. Is this the comprehension kill that they were looking for? The depth charge doesn't connect, the flash get away, but unfortunately, like I said, can't be disabled from that ultimate. He is going to run away. Darius, in vain, unfortunately, pops the ghost to try and catch him, but you're not going to be catching that, buddy. And Prime Zenith, the shockwave does connect very well this time. The Jinx gets the shutdown onto the Caitlyn. Finally, he clearly heard us. The Orianna, that I'm just going to call him Era. That's all I'm going to go for now on. But
Orianna.
Sure. Orianna.
Big shockwave there from the Orianna, which is exactly what I've been saying. That was a shockwave into Jinx damage. You see the amount of damage that can come out from this combination, and is very much a way to win these fights. That is one Baron taken away. However, it is going to be Dragon in 20 seconds. So expect another fight over that one, and Caitlyn is not going to be here for it, at least at the beginning.
Yeah,
I want to see blue side really take advantage of this and push forward, clear as get the vision down, maybe try and make a pick. You've still got shockwave up and available. Fresh has got the hook.
Yeah, there is that package.
Yep, but it looks like they're just gonna.
I mean, they're just gonna do so much damage to it. Prime Zenith not even gonna have a blink, and really interesting, just the change in dynamic here.
It's what happens when you have to force a 4v5 fight without your fed Caitlyn. Is she in there to do damage? You're missing a lot of your damage.
Oh, the package has come in though. The stopwatch activated. Orianna gets out with the lantern. Really well coordinated there, just in the nick of time. A lot of ultimates pop there. Well, I mean, I say a lot. 2 of them plus a package, which isn't quite an ultimate, but an important ability nonetheless. So really done well to get out of there. And there are tricks. Obviously, could have placed a wall down, but like you're saying, the Caitlyn not in those fights. But I think the fight's going to continue. They've caught them out. The Thresh is certainly on the wrong side of his team at the moment. The box comes out as well. Jinx is behind to try and do some damage. Kled's going to try and walk away. Depth charge has been activated as well. Kled able to dash away, and now the Trundle is here as well. Thresh trying to save his ADC, but Jinx, can you get out of there? The heal, but that's not going to save you. Now the Thresh will go down. The bot lane die with each other, and just the positioning, they were hanging on, but just didn't get out of there in time. And now after such a great little play of taking the dragon, setting up, but Prime Zenith, they're really pushing hard and turning the screw.
Yep, which is exactly what you want to see. You've got Baron, you should be able to potentially end the game.
Yeah, the apprehension. The shockwave really good on the 3 members of Prime Zenith. Corki has to dash out of there with his Valkyrie. Derek was still alive to take down the Nautilus, but in the end, he goes down to the Corki, who is doing so much work from the back there. He's got such a huge front line. The Viego's going to activate the stopwatch, going to be able to stay alive, but Corki takes down the inhibitor, and now the Nexus turrets of IPL are falling. Can IPL do anything to save them? There's no shockwave, there's no Viego ultimate. They're just going to have to watch their base be destroyed in this first game of the best of 3 series. And the first one goes over to Prime Zenith, 1-0 in the best of 3.
Yep, really nicely played to end the game the moment they got that lead. But hopefully we shall see them able to maybe close out a little earlier. You could argue that they should have been able to do so. And especially with getting the soul should have happened. Also, a Corki damage at the end of the game.
Oh,
it's not okay.
Yeah, if we can get that Corki damage to show possibly in the post-game lobby, maybe that would be great to see, because
it's about 800 damage a minute, roughly.
Oh goodness me! But I mean, yeah, it's just double anyone else's damage, and I mean, right? If you wanted to see an example, this is it.
But as a poke champ, this is exactly what he should be doing. He should be getting the most damage in there, so you love to see it.
Yeah, I think it's probably more on the side of IPL to probably look at their Darius was the one doing the most damage, which probably shouldn't be the result. So a bit of back to the drawing board for them, but as our wonderful viewers will sum up in that, it was just bong too strong in the end. But that was game one for you all. Very close, and IPL could have pulled it out. They seem to be coming back, but we will see all of that and how it comes forth in game two. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very shortly. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are just about to set up for game 2 of this very interesting series. Pretty back and forth between those teams. And in the end, Prime Zenith really pulling out the bag in the end. Just to say as well, we have an emergency sub coming in. Of course, that does mean, so this is on the side of Prime Zenith, I believe. And of course, the penalty for that is losing 3 bans again. Not that that prevented them from winning, but some fans of Boo Boo in the chat at least, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yep. Unfortunate, but certainly not the end of the world, as they were able to pull out the win last time, and there's no reason that they won't be able to again. Hopefully, we shall be into the pick and ban fairly soon. We will go from there. Of course, we have a little extra thing for the pick and bans if you want to tell the people about that one.
Yeah. Of course, the sub coming in, I believe, for, I want to say the support, I think it is.
I was talking about pro comps if you wanted to mention that one.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. I was in
Set
two
you up
minds.
so nicely, and you let me down, man. Come on, you're better than this, and you know it.
Oh, I know. I really let you down there. But unlike me, pro comps, that we talked about if you weren't here for the first game, that you will be able to see in all its glory in this first pick and ban phase, which will be analysing the comps and really does well to suggest, what your team might be lacking as well. So, check it out yourself while you have a look through here, and hopefully you can sort out a good comp for your own teams, as we are now into the pick and ban phase with the Lux, just like last time, coming out from the side of IPL.
Yep, it would be nice if the teams agreed on 3 bans that they could just do throwaways to speed this up. But unfortunately, we're going to have to sit and wait it out, which is a bit unlucky. But it kind of is what it is. And at this level, these players could play anything. So random bans may not be quite so random, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it could actually affect the game, but
You know, if you were banning stuff like, we'll say, Yorick, Callista, champions that aren't likely to be played by anyone here. But we're going to see a slight change in the bans with the Viego banned away.
Interesting, as obviously is picked from their own team last time, so clearly going with a different strategy and not wanting it in the hands of Prime Zenith.
Yeah, it seems a little weird being that they were willing to first pick that one, unless they just don't want to let it go over and have a different first pick in mind, maybe something like the Corki, which is instead just going to be banned away.
Yeah, good call, I think, after some pretty extravagant damage last game.
Yeah, not surprising, but you also could argue, if your mid laner plays it, which they probably should, picking it up here would have been a good choice. But if they decide not to, maybe we're going to see the Jinx and Caitlyn traded, which is what I would assume. But we shall have to see when the teams pick their first pick. As here we go into the actual picks, as the bans are kind of, because of an emergency sub, that is not a first pick worthy champion. That, however, almost is.
Yeah, just a bit of hovering game, mind games. That's what it was. But yeah, obviously, of course, the opposite to the Corki on the other side is the Victor, who is been very strong in the team fights at the moment. So yeah, really nice pick.
And of course, was banned away in that second phase of bans last game.
Yeah.
Victor very, very strong, but there are picks into it to try and punish it. We have seen in the past things like the LeBlanc. You just became very happy with that Kane lock-in.
Oh yeah, nice.
But things like the LeBlanc, of course, are very good at punishing Victor. Victor does struggle a little bit into some of these assassins, and of course artillery mages. So things like the Zenith. But we're going to see already a big change. We're going to see the Caitlyn still locked in again, but we're going to see that Senna Tom Kench. We shall have to see how they play this lane, because, of course, if you're locking in something like Senna Tom Kench, the assumption would be the Tom Kench farming and the Senna doing the fasting Senna build. However, we have been seeing a lot more in Pro Play of the farming Senna, which then makes me wonder why you picked Tom Kench alongside it, which
Tom
would
Kench.
be it would just be very, very weird. Unless it's of course a top lane pick, which it could be. Tom Kench top lane is a very oppressive laner, so wouldn't be
It's just
entirely
oppressive, full stop,
surprised
really.
to see that. I don't know, if you play against him as support, he doesn't do anything. But Morgana picked up, so Caitlyn Morgana, very, very strong lane. Of course, technically a flex pick, but expect to see those two paired together as we're going to see the Gangplank banned away, which has to really be a target ban because you can't help but feel, golden below players aren't going to generally be the best when it comes to Gangplank. We're going to see Vex banned away, which is a little strange. Vex doesn't do particularly well into Victor. Victor generally wins that matchup. So is a bit of a bizarre ban to me, unless it is just we know you play it, so we're just trying to get you off of comfort.
Yeah.
And there's a Darius played against the last game. We're like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with it this game and just ban it away, which I think is entirely understandable, as he's one of my permaban champions if I'm playing top lane. And the Camille, which we saw banned last game, is going to be banned away again this time.
Yeah.
So we shall have to see what gets picked up here. I'm a little surprised. I'd like to have seen, instead of banning things like the Gangplank and the Darius, maybe putting 2 jungle bans in and try to get yourself a better matchup there. But with all of the premier junglers up and available, it's not entirely surprising. As it's a very, very last second Syndra being picked up. Syndra does reasonably well into Victor, of course, scales quite nicely, and at that level 6 mark has a huge kill threat. And the other one is, if you can land those stuns, it's a really good gank setup for this Kayn. And we're going to see the Hecarim. I like Hecarim. I think Hecarim's very good at the moment. We'll have to see what build this Hecarim decides to go with. And
yeah, the main one being the man immune
Chem
tank. Yeah, that's been very successful, certainly in what I've seen.
But when I was doing some of the Dutch tour casting at the weekend, we did see the Divine Sundra with the Conqueror build, and we're going to see a Kali into the top lane blind.
Speaking of Chem tank, yep.
I'm not going to lie, is a very interesting choice here, and I'm not the biggest fan of blinding something like the Akali, because, Kled is actually quite a good pick into it.
I was going to say, just go with Kled again.
Renekton's a good pick into it. I'm not the biggest fan of this Ornn, but they do need a front line. They do need some engage, so Ornn does make a lot of sense here. And I have to say, our red side team is just honestly such a stronger draft, in my opinion. Other than this Kayn pick. The Kayn pick I'm not the biggest fan of, but that's partly because I don't think Kayn is in the greatest spot right now, because he gets beaten up by almost every top tip, like all of the meta junglers at the moment.
Yeah, if you're against a good jungler, they're gonna put you in your place. Hopefully, the Hecarim Akhen, did all right. He was the one bullied, so maybe he can give back a piece of his own medicine. But yeah, certainly a very clear focus and team comp from the side of Prime Zenith IPL. A bit more maybe of a disjointed team, but strong nonetheless with the Victor and the Akali. Very good meta picks there.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how well it gets played out, of course. Fairly high skill cap champions. So we'll have to see if the skill is in the cap of the players. But we're going to have to wait out the 3-minute spectator delay yet again, because we are not on Tournament Realm, obviously. And we have no way to get around it otherwise, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And do you want to have a quick look and see what the Pro Comps is saying about these two teams?
Yeah, that was going to be my next thought. Glad we're on the same page. But as you can all guys see in the middle with this lovely matchup analysis from Pro Comps. Cool little bit of software that probably didn't exist when we were first playing League. So yeah, you can see that it does kind of talk about the counters as well. I think this is from the side of IPL. Saying that you've got enough AP. So pick a bit more AD, of course, the AP being the Akali and the Victor. But saying Tahm Kench does counter the Morgana, which is an interesting one. But
Which is strange because Tahm Kench is going to waddle at Morgana and do the go under the ground, and Morgana's just going to Black Shield, root him, and walk away. So
yeah,
I'm not sure about that one personally.
yeah, but I like the other features as well. The scaling is quite interesting because it says that Prime Zenith are going to start with higher damage, and then IPL are actually going to kind of probably burst through, which I can kind of see that with the late game Victor, late game Senna as well is going to be super
Senna
strong.
is literal infinite scaling. However, of course, all items, so at that level 14 mark, all I'm going to start upgrading people's mythics. So watch out for who he prioritizes and what he prioritizes. Of course, Kane, I'm imagining we're going to see the red Kane here, as honestly, it's the stronger version. But Blue Kane, of course, very, very obnoxious to play against. However, Tahm Kench, quite good at saving people from assassins. And as we said, this Senna Tahm Kench lane now, if it's not the fasting Senna and the Tahm Kench farming, I think there are much, much better supports to pair alongside a farming Senna. But we shall have to see when we get into the game in about 20 seconds' time.
Yeah, not long to go for sure. But like we were saying before, as Prime Zenith did take that first win, so hopefully IPL can try and turn it around and take us to a game 3 in this crazy kind of level of game. But yeah, some really interesting engages. That's what we'd like to see. Not the old the late game kind of stuff. Certainly from my PvP side of things, I want to talk more. I don't want to talk less and save you talking. But we are now just about loading up, and we'll be on the Rift very soon.
I mean, I hope there's a lot of fighting because it means teams are fighting for objectives more and more, and hopefully means the games get sped up just a little bit. As we did have a 40-minute game in the last game, and as much as it's not the longest kind of games, it's certainly by no means a short game, especially with how League is playing at the moment. Maybe this time, don't mess up the smite on the Dragon Soul, and you'll end the game a lot in 10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes quicker than you probably should have.
Just a bit of a delay, yeah.
But,
I mean, yeah, go on.
Akali, we see with of course, the Ignite. Oh, no Ignite, so not taking that pure lane matchup, taking the Flash instead, which is slightly surprising to see. And as we get into game, it is going to be the fasting Senna and that farming Tahm Kench, which I'm really glad about as to order everyone, because they're all out of order and it's really annoying, as we are going to have to do the whole trying to sync up thing again, which is
Yep. Yep, all good.
Hopefully.
And there we go. All champions successfully, goodness me, popped onto the Rift. And we are ready to go for this game 2, all raring to go.
So already I can see some very strange choices in the items. On choosing to get a refillable potion and nothing else, which I love to see. It means they know what they're doing on Ornn. Because you farm the first 4 minions and buy yourself a Doran shield, and it feels really good to have a Doran shield alongside that refillable potion for the early laning phase. Kane with Red Smite and Conqueror looks like he is leaning towards the Red Kane, which is a good idea. We've just got a slight pause because it appears the mid laner here is having some lag issues, which we're hopefully getting resolved quickly. Syndra starting with the Sapphire Crystal, which is honestly a little bit weird. If you by doing this, it does mean you can start refillable.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan. I think Doran's or just Corruption Potion is a better start. And the Victor, of course, going for Doran's, which again you might argue in this lane Corruption Potion would have been a better start. And Caitlyn with the longsword and refillable. Again, it's one of those things where a lot of higher elo AD carries are taking that longsword and free potions for that extra potion in lane, as it matters a lot, especially with Senna looking to walk down an auto non-stop game. As I imagine Klein is going to, after the pause, freeze for a moment, because it normally does, although it might not because of us having a rewound slightly, and it looks like it's not going to, which is quite convenient.
All good. Still, it's all right. 11 years? Oh, wait, we're season 11 or season 12? We're season 12, aren't we? Yes, 12. Still stuck on that. But 12 years and still some good old bugs for Riot to deal with.
Yep.
But all seems to be working fine. Very calm start to this game compared to that first blood on the last one. So a bit more professional this time.
Yes, well, as they managed to get the ward down on the blue buff yet again, but this time there's no Darius to start a fight that he shouldn't have taken.
Yeah.
But we are now into the game, as they do have information knowing where Hecarim has started. And Kane, of course, quite happy starting on his own. And if I was this Kane and saw Hecarim starting on blue, I would be starting on his Raptors, because I'm the sort of player.
Yeah.
Which is really fun to do in solo queue. If you're blue side, always just start your opponent's Raptors into their red buff, because it works almost every single time.
Yeah.
As
without any knowing.
Yep. As I'm expecting a relatively quiet early game here. You know, Victor versus Syndra, not much should happen in that lane. Kali versus Ornn, not much should happen in that lane either. And Senna versus Caitlyn, it's just a matter of Senna trying to farm up as many, as quickly as she can on that Spectral Sickle to get that gold. And we'll have to watch as Tom Kench tries his best to last hit under tower. So CS to track in this game will be Tom Kench versus Caitlyn. Already Caitlyn off to a good start. Tom Kench falling behind early on.
Yeah. Obviously, that lead will escalate, but some really good exchanges here in the mid lane. Syndra getting the better of the Victor at the moment, and the Ornn, doing well. Some good early damage. Of course, people don't really realize the kind of potential damage that Ornn can provide in that early game.
Ornn is assassin, tank, support, mage, like marksman. You can name a role, and he can probably do it.
Like, yeah, he is just the Rift champion, isn't he? Really.
And then some.
And then some, exactly.
But you know, Ornn very strong. Obviously, scales incredibly well and gives all of the others items, as he is recalling for some strange reason, even though he had both potions available and a biscuit available to go get cloth armor, which he could have made in lane and kept up the pressure. So I'm a bit confused by that one.
It's a recall, yeah, but maybe it might. I would think because he made his Doran shield and then decided to go back for his cloth armor, possibly.
Yeah, but why is he getting a cloth armor against Kali early on? That's just weird. It's actually just weird.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I let him do him, as Kali now able to farm up quite
just seen some pings as well. Hecarim might have overstayed his welcome. I knew he'd try and get some vengeance. He activates the ghost to get away, and he will be able to get away. Just Syndra kind of just watches the horse run past and just says goodbye through the bush. But a bit overzealous there.
So it looks like Kane has decided to pick himself up a tier here, which normally I see it on blue Kane as opposed to red Kane.
Yeah.
Normally red Kane just wants to rush that gore drinker, doesn't want to spend time building the mana moon up. So we'll have to see, as Ornn played that a little bit there. He should have tried to get the
Yeah.
auto for the brittle proc and then looked to see if he could get the knock up, or
Yeah.
tried to do the knock up. Woolakali was flying in with the E, so when she landed, she was instantly knocked up. But Hecarim's in the spot lane,
Yeah, he's
and
going to go
Morgana
in
didn't
now.
Black Shield.
And no Black Shield, the knock up as well, and they're just going to be able to get in here. Tom Kench, of course, with that change ability going in very close, going to keep licking that Caitlyn down. The Ignite is activated as well, but they're both going to be able to get out of there in the end. Unfortunately, the focus was across the two players, so all 4 Summoner spells burnt though, so certainly advantage at least in the lane for IPL.
Yep, you can't help but feel if Morgana just Black Shielded herself before the Hecarim E came in, knocking her back, that would have resulted in less summoners needing to be used, but nevertheless, they escape the gank. But good gank here from the Hecarim, all 4 summoners burnt in bot lane, as you said, and it is a nice little win for them, as it again means it's Caitlyn who wants to push, who wants to pressure tower plates, who wants to just put pressure on the lane. Now it's a lot less safe to do so. As On and Akali farming up, as the cannon minion went down. Good job, boys. Cannon minions are a nuisance. Akali got a bit of a CS lead here. Has already recalled and used that teleport, of course, picking up a few kind of items there for herself. Nothing major of note as Morgana lands the
Dark
bind.
Binding,
And what
yeah,
is
is
Caitlyn doing?
landed. She's landing on the trap now. Caitlyn getting very aggressive, of course, does have her jungler with her, so really good to see actually when ADCs know their confidence, know they've got the power behind them, and now Gomlagi did get hit by the Dark Binding, but of course he is a very beefy Tahm Kench, so we'll get out of there. But it was a kill on the side of the Morgana, sadly, but at least Prime Zenith are back in control.
For now, however, Senna still has both summoners up and available. You can't help but feel if you're dying with both summoners up and available, you have made quite a big mistake. But nevertheless, good punish by our red side team here to pick up that kill on Senna. And if we have a look at this bot lane, it is quite a large CS lead for this Caitlyn already, which isn't surprising. You know, Tahm Kench is a melee; he will struggle to farm, particularly into something like a Caitlyn Morgana. So hopefully he's able to pick those numbers up a bit and try and even out that farm. But of course, in terms of gold, you've got to be careful because Senna farming that gold, of course, with the Spectral Sickle, and farming gold from her little ghost as well. So,
Yep,
we'll need to keep track later into the game of how many stacks of Absolution she is up to. Of course, giving her loads of stats. Most importantly, that range.
Yeah, it will make a huge difference. Of course, now she has gone for the first strike rune as well. Is that kind of...
That's very common on Senna at the moment.
Yeah, okay. Just as a more general point, yeah, of course, a new
being that
rune
Glacial,
for this
of
season.
course. Well, being that, of
Augment,
course,
yeah.
Glacial got changed quite massively, and they added a slow onto Senna's basic attacks, or onto Senna's Q. It kind of brought her back into the meta, and she is getting nerfed yet again. And
too strong.
the rate of the soul drop is being dropped down
yeah.
from 10% back down to 2% while she's farming, which is what it used to be, because farming Senna is just a little bit too strong right now in terms of, particularly in pro play, where it's been picked up by every single person again. However, why is Kane going lethality, red smite, conqueror? He is building blue Kane, planning to go, runing for red Kane.
Maybe a change of heart. Anyway, he is in the bot lane alongside with the Hecarim, though. The Syndra activates the ultimate. The Kane's got the ultimate as well, but did have some damage reduced before he finally goes down. The Syndra getting the kill there. Victor comes in to try and get some compensation back, but is just too late, and Mrs. Crocombe gets 2 kills for the game. Really good roam there.
Yeah, Victor did try and follow, but was second on the roam,
party.
so certainly...
And he's gone again, I think, but we'll never know what he was certain of. But as we carry on with this game, we've bit of a lead now, just about 1k on the side of Prime Zenith. Top lane having a bit of a skirmish, but Slight quite comically just dashing through the Akali there. And he's back.
God, this headset is annoying.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer than my other one.
Uh-huh.
But
Things happen.
Syndra here with double buff should be able to put a lot of pressure down. But Hecarim in the area, but no ult means
he's
not a
coming
lot's
back
gonna happen.
for he's coming back for his buff, but like you said, he's no Onslaught of the Shadows, a very weak pony indeed. Will just have to actually activate his own ghost in the end to get out of that. So not quite sure what the thinking was there, but Syndra will be safe for sure for a while.
Yep, especially knocking her towards her tower meant that she was more than safe. And with Kayn in the area, that wasn't close. But still pressure nonetheless. Hecarim is falling down quite a bit in CS here, although things should pick back up as he's got his jungle to farm. But Herald up and available, Dragon up and available. Neither team looking at either of these at the moment, which honestly you kind of hate to see. As you know, remember this Herald before 14 minutes before those plates fall is way more valuable than later into the game.
Yeah,
Of course, Dragon, you would have tried to stack it up nice and early to push towards that soul. And with your Syndra having pressure, your bot lane with Caitlyn Morgana having pressure, I'd love to have seen that Dragon picked up by now at least.
Yeah, I suppose, when you've got a Kayn who doesn't really like to take the dragon like that, but, they do have that pressure mid lane, try and make something, bot lane, I should say, sorry, try and make something happen, but the Hecarim, he's probably thinking about the Rift Herald here, whether he can really go for it yet. He's going to be spotted by the ward as well, thought about the dive in top lane possibly, but we'll just walk away. There's not too much happening across the lanes.
Why is there a dust blade on Red Smite and Conqueror Kayn?
Yeah, I was thinking
you
this.
play
I think
Kayn.
he's going.
You play Kayn. Like, what? Come on, you've got to
tell me. Well, yeah, I think the only logical explanation can be that he's just simply forgotten to change his runes. Because of course he is going red Kayn with that Dustblade Man Immune, which is obviously, like you said, the obvious one, the blue Kayn. But instead, the mid lane is being focused as well. The Victor is under a lot of pressure. Sen's going to have to flash away as well. One more auto attack. The tongue just misses, and that probably would have taken down the kill. But instead, the Senna with the ultimate takes him down as well. Victor is survived there. You just seen off the lane. And Morgana, she's getting very low as well. Double kill onto the Senna. IPL are really working this bot lane very well. Hecarim is now here just to shore up some things. Onslaught of Shadows to prevent that Kayn going through the wall, and he will take his kill as well.
Either I'm ahead or you're behind at this point.
Oh.
I don't know which one it is.
I
don't know, because it depends where our production is. Which is a little awkward.
I think I might be ahead, possibly.
Well, either I'm ahead or you're behind. It can't be you're ahead.
Oh, right.
Doesn't make sense, because I'm ahead of you. So.
Okay, I'm about
122. Yeah.
1 second ahead. That's
what?
okay. I'll just go
weird.
1 second. Yep. Never mind. But
so
I think we're back on level.
So
yeah.
We have Red Kayn here with the Tear and the Duskblade, and what I think is he has gone online, gone, what is the highest win rate build, and doesn't realise that there's a difference between the two. At least that's my assumption here, because.
Yeah, no, I like to think that he does realise that, but. So yeah, because he has gone Red Kayn in the end, with the Duskblade.
I don't think he realises that the builds are different. Which one of my friends, Kiwi, managed to play Kayn wall building one wall taking the other, which was quite funny. Of course, it does work. It's by no means it's by no means bad, but it's just not as efficient as it could be.
Doesn't synergize.
With Red Kayn wanting to have the longer drawn out fights, and this build he's going for, which is designed for much shorter fights. So we shall have to see how it plays out in the end. Of course, they did win the previous game, I mentioned this Herald, I mentioned Dragon, and Dragon has, of course, fallen in favour of Red side, and Herald is looking to do so the same. However, it is going to be the first Herald before tower plating, therefore, it is, or after tower plating has fallen,
Yep.
which means it has far less value than it really would. So, a little unfortunate there, but at least it's being taken. And
Yeah,
we shall have to
bit
see
of gold there.
where it gets used. Because at this point, if you don't get a full tower with that Herald, it is kind of a big waste of time. As Kali is actually farming quite well in this top lane, up to
Yeah.
140 CS, where Ornn is only at 100.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that Akali doing very well. Actually, at one point was 3 levels ahead of her jungler. It does feel very sadder than jungle when you're a few levels behind, but I mean, the Morgana is was just 4 levels behind the Akali, so he's doing really well in top lane there. But not quite got any kills or assists on the board just yet, as looks like mid lane almost taken down, but not quite.
Yep, Hecarim was in the area, so Syndra does Ghost on.
Yeah.
Out of there with Victor finishing that Crown of the Shattered Queen, it does make it a lot harder for Syndra to fully burst out. And speaking of builds that I'm not entirely sure on, Senna also has decided to go for a Dust Bowl, which I haven't seen for a while, but I don't know, I haven't seen Senna properly for a while.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit bizarre to me. However,
Yeah.
it kind of, these players are doing what they do, what they know, and what they trust, so we shall trust them to do it. As Akali continuing just to be a nuisance in that top lane, and I cannot wait for the chem tank changes to stop this craziness. This is a very easy solo killer. Zorn just overstepped.
Yeah, but Kane is around as well.
Akali wins
going to go
this.
down very soon. Yeah, she's going to win the 2v2 probably, but Kane actually doing a lot of damage. Of course, he does have that kind of mixed build, as it were, and actually did a lot of damage in the end. The Unleashed Power is what takes the kill for the Syndra 3-0 bot lane. Copying as well with the top, going for some battles here. Tom Kent is really cool. That Dark Binding is just so oppressive. That was 2 in about 4 seconds, I think.
That was
And,
the Morgana roll.
Yeah,
Jeez,
well,
there.
there was the chain of soul shackles, I should say. Chain of corruptions.
Varus.
No, it's Varus. There we go. But yeah, I mean, just rooted to the spot there, nowhere to go. Couldn't even use the flash, I don't think, at some point. So yeah, across the map in the end, Prime Zenith doing really well across both lanes, and now with this Rift Herald looking to take down that first mid turret.
I don't think they're going to get much, if anything, with that Herald there.
Yeah.
As I don't even know if it got. It looks like it did just get the
Yeah,
charge
it did get
off.
a hit. Yeah. But
But we are
little distraction.
the dragon has been taken, so we're going to see a cloud soul this game. Pretty unimpactful soul compared to literally all of the others.
Huh.
But we shall have to see how this game plays out, whether it actually goes to soul or not. Syndra 3-0-0, looking very, very strong in this game, even if she is down a very, very small but almost negligible at this point.
Yeah,
Hecarim still needs to finish his first item, which is a little bit sad to see. But of course, did stop off for full tier 2 boots and a tier along the way, so not quite been able to get in on as many kills as this Kane so far as its tower should. And it's exactly what you want to be doing with something like Caitlyn Morgana, as they walk next to each other and
yeah,
get both rooted, which is very silly.
yeah, Black Shield at least on herself to save one of them, but there was no engage, fortunately. No Hecarim around. Does have that onslaught of shadows ready to go, so might be looking down here. Of course, there is a ward in that tribo, so if he comes down, will be spotted out. But yeah, pretty close again. Nothing really much to separate the two teams.
No, well, the one thing separating them is that 3 kills on Syndra in the mid lane. Of course, top lane is going to get worse and worse for the Ornn as the game goes on, as Akali will be able to whittle away easier and easier. Of course, this kind of weird new age.
Yep. Sound just gone there, but like we were saying, Akali whistling away at that Tom Kench, going to be stronger and stronger.
I'm going to throw this
You
little mix amp away very soon in a fit of complete anger.
Nice.
But then the headset would work, so that'd be stupid. Big damage here on the
nice plans. The
Morgana.
dark binding as well. Yeah, the Senna really coming through with that damage as well. That Duskblade doing a lot of damage. Ornhorn coming in, goes in, gets the knock up as well. Of course, Senna was inside the Tom Kench. She will be able to get to safety, but unfortunately her companion is going to go down now. Victor is on the other side of 4 members of Prime Zenith. Akali is in here with the Chemtank doing just so much damage. Just unbelievable. Just with that tank build, but in the end, Kane is going to get a kill, a shutdown onto that Senna, which will feel really nice with this mixed build. But the fight continues as well. The Victor versus the Kane. He's doing some good damage, but of course he is a lot squishier than a Red Kane normally would be. Akali still just holding the fort here, Ornn doing some really good damage in return though. Gets the knock up onto the Akali. Kane is going to come in to take the kill. And we may have knocked this Kane build down, but it is doing pretty well in that fight. And in the end, it is a 2 for 2 in the end for both teams.
Yep, it is now 6 kills to 8. And shutdown gold did, of course, go over to both sides, so it's not like there's a big disparity there either. But a bit of a weird fight, honestly, because there was nothing to fight over. There was no tower, there was no dragon.
Yep, just a fight.
Baron's alive. It was just a bit of a fight for fight's sake, and I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. Of course, getting gold through winning fights is a very good way to win the game. But, generally speaking, if you're going to try and have a fight, you want to be fighting over something, to get something, to gain any map pressure or anything anywhere. And that fight was...
Yeah, just wanted a bit of a skirmish, just show them who's boss. But, I do feel it. I was thinking about this the other day that League has become a very more objective game, hasn't it? I think earlier we've got another little fight here. Senna doing just so much damage now. The onslaught of shadows coming in will clean up Morgana's teammate in the bot lane, and IPL take out those 2 kills to make it 8 kills apiece.
Either I'm ahead again, or you're falling behind again.
Oh, I'm behind.
Maybe.
I'm as far ahead as I can be. Okay.
That's weird.
But anyway, sorry about that. Okay, I've pushed it forward anyway. But we continue with the fighting. It just never stops. Doesn't matter about objectives. It matters about kills on this Rift. Kane is going in. He gets his 3rd kill of the game. The Ornhorn is activated to try and take down this impressive Akali so far. She's going to have to get a double kill out of here. But Kane is just doing so much damage. Maybe this is something we have not seen before. It is great. But in the end, Akali goes down alongside the Hecarim.
Why are you flashing there? The Kane has ulted you. He's going to follow you no matter what, and you're flash. What? I'm just. I don't understand that flash.
Yeah, basically.
I'm very, very confused by that flash. However, Syndra very nearly getting the solo kill in mid lane. Kane has got his Duskblade upgraded to the Drakthar Shadow Reaver, which is a great name. That one even.
Yep.
So
I appreciated the knowledge, though. That was impressive, I'd say the least.
I can see it in the chat.
Well, I know, but I'd like to think that we can't see that. We like to pretend. But anyway, the Drake is going down. The 3rd dragon for Prime Zenith as well. Before we're distracted by the Ornn items and onto Soul Point, which would be nice on the Morgana, I think. If you're looking at champions, I mean,
of course, it's nice on it. There's no reason for it to be bad on anyone, but compared to literally every other soul in the game, you would put Cloud Soul as the weakest by far on every single tier list.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the win rates now. I think Ocean Soul is kind of joint bottom, isn't it now? When actually it used to be one of the
Ocean Soul is still very, very powerful.
Yeah.
But you'd put Ocean Soul, Mountain Soul, and Infernal Soul about the same power level. You'd put the Hextech Soul just above them. You'd put the Chemtech Soul just above them when in its original state, but 1, it's disabled, and 2, it has been nerfed into the ground because it was stupid. And then you'd have the Cloud Soul at the very bottom, because even if you give Cloud Soul up, you're really not that fussed because you just don't notice it in most of the fights. And the Kali
gets
going
the
in.
hit onto the Cinder as well, misses the scattering the weak as well, so she's just going to take her down very quickly. But there is the Kane to support his teammate, goes in with the ultimate, the Ornhorn as well, just like last time, a bit of deja vu, and the combined effort takes down the Akali 1-for-1 in the end.
Yep, Kali taken down yet again, going for the solo kills and then getting picked off herself. Does mean this Kane now 5-1-5 and is looking very, very strong, even with
5-1.
very bizarre build.
Yeah, I mean, seems to be doing the trick. Whether it'd be doing better as the normal build you'd like to think it would, but nonetheless, he's doing pretty well on the Kane and being very present across the map, which is the important thing for the junglers, being in the right place at the right time.
Yep, well, part of that is the enemy being in the wrong place at the right time.
Yeah, that is one way to look at it for sure. But yeah, so after all that kind of back and forth with a few weird fights, it is IPL who are in the lead. Darkbind are going to connect, but not follow up as yet. But Ornn says no, he's going to start the fight as well. The Tahm Kench is by himself. He's just going to get permanently locked down. He may have a shield, but they've got all the time in the world, Prime Zenith, to take him down. They will chop him up and take him down. Like I just said, sorry. I realized I said that twice. But Prime Zenith still behind by 800 gold as well, but really doing well to push their advantaged in levels, I suppose it would be.
Yep, I've never known my headset to be this bad. It is bizarre. I've never known it to cut out quite as much as it is, which is really starting to piss me off, quite frankly. But we 12 kills now for Red Side. They are quite nicely ahead, so are looking very strong. However, the ARAM here may not necessarily be the best play to look for, but with the team they have, sieging is very, very strong. So
yeah, certainly possible, but so much coming onto the Morgana as well. She's going to have to walk away from that. There's a few fights coming on into the turret out and outside as well. The first one is the Kane, take down the Victor as well. Akali is right in the mix. The Senna shields come out as well, do so much damage to those squishy champions on the side of Prime Zenith. Tahm Kench is trying to save his jungler now, but Kane is coming there with the ultimate, will not get away. Tahm Kench is by himself now, and will just face the might of the Caitlyn, who is still so strong. Not as strong as last game, but still really doing well this game. And Ace in the hole takes down that Senna, who did do so much damage in that fight. But unfortunately, the rest of the team could not quite pull through, and it's an ace in the hole for Prime Zenith.
This should be the middle inhibitor, and then hopefully the Baron or even the Dragon Soul, should they wish. And the Baron would be the correct choice here with 3 dead, Kane, Ornn, and Caitlyn alive. You could take it very quickly. But it looks like they're just going to reset and go for this Dragon, which I don't disagree with. You know, it is Soul, it is worthwhile doing. So, going to be a good one to pick up, even if it's a not entirely relevant one to pick up. And
yeah, I think it's good. Oh, I think you just cut out there slightly again. Sorry, the virus. But what I was there you are. You're back.
I'm getting a bit annoyed at this Hecarim, and I will say it very simply: of how many times have you seen him ult in as opposed to ult out this game?
Yep, agreed.
And it's just, it doesn't feel like a very confident pick here. It feels like he's picking it because it's Victor.
Yeah, just a bit of a fat finger there, but really good control here. You like to see it from the Caitlyn. The traps just zoning
it's what you
out
need to
IPL.
do.
Yeah.
Caitlyn sets up around objectives very, very well. And speaking of objectives,
Hecarim, he's going to be using that into an Ornn, which doesn't feel the best in the world. Akali did TP in. She is in amongst 5 members. It doesn't matter if you are the meta broken Chemtech Akali, you are still going to go down to 5 members. And so she does in the end. Really good push from Prime Zenith, and they are now looking for the Nexus turrets.
Yep, this could be the end of the game, especially with that hitting into the binding.
As well. Victor was going to be stuck until the Tahm Kench saves his blushes. A flash away from the Syndra, she was going to go down, but IPL, they show that they can still defend their base.
Miscommunication there as Kane went to farm the topside jungle while his team pushed.
Yeah.
But if they at least turn it into a Baron, it's certainly not the end of the world here, as there is no real world where this can be contested. Hecarim is on the way, and his ult's up in about 20 seconds by the look of it.
Well,
It would
I'd
be
say shorter
very,
than that,
very
probably
risky.
10, but I think in the time it's going to come back. Yeah, pretty simple Baron, like you said. And IPL do respect that and just simply focus on other objectives. Victor going to try and take that inner turret, but of course you can see Syndra is on her way, not really going to have time to do that, so just do as much as he can.
Yep, Syndra has pretty solid wave clear at this point, and just going to obliterate that wave. And with this Baron, this should hopefully be able to be a push to secure them the win. Of course, there is still inner towers in both top and bot to get through, so might take them a little while, but we are already seeing them win fights. And speaking of fights,
Horn is going on as well. Yeah, Victor is going to get knocked up. The stopwatch is going to avoid that scatter the weak stun, but it's not going to avoid the unleashed power. You're not going to get away with that. Is Syndra going to get away from the Chaos Storm? Yes, just in the end on 60 HP. So we'll, of course,
not even
quickly-
close, baby.
not even close. But yeah, good little focus down. Victor just caught out. And IPL with 4 members here, Carly probably going to have to come back and help her team very soon.
Yeah, but Binding lands on the
But now,
Hecarim, but nothing's going to come of it. And
Tom Kench go for the
Kench went
engage,
in.
but he's got no members of his team to help him, and that's just a bit of an end if you're in solo queue. And Prime Zenith just literally kind of taking what they receive almost, and just reacting rather than engaging. Akali trying to get some damage onto the Caitlyn, but with a flash, does not quite get the damage off. She is inside her shroud, but there's still some AoE damage to do, and this Kayn is godlike. 9-1 and 9. It looks like the Duskblade Red Kayn is the build to go, because Prime Zenith, they are taking down IPL's base. They are just simply picking and choosing who they kill. Now goes down the Senate, then goes down the Victor. Hecarim tries his onslaught of shadows, but unfortunately it's just his shadow which will remain. And Prime Zenith take this best of 3 series 2-0 against IPL.
Yep, very nicely played. Much cleaner finish this game. They get a lead. They know exactly what they're doing this time and close it out in a fairly convincing 2-0.
Yeah,
So,
really clean.
oh god, the Hecarim done the least damage in the game.
Yeah, pretty low damage there. Yeah, it was. I feel when being in these teams that maybe he was put on to kind of a meta pick, maybe that wasn't quite his a usual pick, but yeah, bit unfortunate there. But do see the Kayn coming out with the most damage there, so probably quite nice that he has that red Kayn sustain, with the damage of the blue. So did come out pretty well. So really good job from Prime Zenith. Like you said, a lot cleaner. No Baron or Dragon steals, and just across the board, really, just all consistent performance.
Yep, which is exactly what you want from your team, especially in kind of no matter what level of coordinated play, in coordinated play.
Exactly, got to be coordinating the coordination to sum that off. But a lot of people in the chat, Bing Bong, difference. So well done to Bing Bong.
Apparently, we are doing a short interview with one of the members of the winning team, which would have been really nice to have known in advance, so we could prepare some questions.
Yeah, I think it's the usual thing in this league, maybe, but never mind, it's all good. So yeah, we're gonna have a quick interview with a member of Prime Zenith. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna have a nice little chat with one of the players.
Wonder who? Oh, and there he is.
Hello.
And who have we got here?
I am Bram. I played the jungle with the
Great.
I'm going to have to ask very quickly because we did talk about this. Of course, congratulations on the win, 2-0. It's obviously what you were looking for in this game. But I'm going to ask a very simple question. This Kayn build,
Yeah.
you know it's normally for blue Kayn the build you went, right?
Yeah, well, I found it in solo queue. I was like, let's play purple Kane, but I did it the other way around, and it worked. So I was gonna. We picked Kane because I wanted to pick it away from their jungler, and I was like, well, I can't play Brewster Kane, but I can play this, and it worked out in the end.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. It was a very strange build to go because obviously the item synergies go a lot better
Yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah. Well, I heard that a lot from my mid laner craft, so yeah.
Yeah, got a lot of feedback from your own team at least. That's good. But you
Yeah.
held strong. I like it as a fellow jungler. You held strong and
Thank you.
showed them right. So well done.
Another small thing I'm going to say as well is in game number 1 with the Dragon Soul as it got smited away, well, as it got stolen away by the Jinx Rocket, just what were comms like during that moment? How did it feel when that happened?
It felt awful. I didn't expect it. I was doing the fake lag, but I said to my team like we should slow down on the Baron. I got like traumatized from the Drake, so I said, "Yo, we need to slow it, so I have time to spite it, so they don't steal it with the rocket."
Nice. PTSD coming through there. I like it.
Very,
Yeah.
Yeah,
a very unfortunate moment, but luckily didn't change the outcome of that
yeah,
game. As at least the second game went a lot smoother, at least in terms of the getting that soul, which unfortunately Cloud Soul, let's be realistic, is not
yeah.
actually the
It's
best in the game. But certainly you're not going to say no to the extra stats it effectively gives you.
yeah, yeah. It was disappointing to see Cloud Soul, but hey, we take the soul nevertheless. Enemy team played decent as well, and
Yeah.
we played with 2 different supports both games. We also played without bans. I wanna
Yeah.
thank the both supports that filled. So yeah.
Yeah, did really well there in that bot lane. Certainly, your ADC pretty consistent on the same champion, Caitlyn. So yeah, well done to that. And so going forward, where do you kind of see to kind of improve things as well? Obviously, it's nice to get the win, but maybe against stronger opposition, where do you think you're kind of looking to work on from those games?
For us, it's mostly macro because most teams, without being toxic or having an ego, we can mostly skill check
Yeah.
the other teams. But we're looking to improve a lot on macro and have Prof Bing Bong carry us.
Yeah.
Because he's an awesome player.
Yeah, Bing Bong certainly has a big fan base from the stream, even on this on the secondary stream. That maybe secondary in terms of number, but still clearly has a good following. So that was good to see. But yeah, good job on the win, and
Thank you.
good luck for the other games.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, yeah, that'll be it for us with the interviews. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It's maybe been a landslide, but enjoyable and entertaining, hopefully nonetheless, with a few technical hitches. But then again, that wouldn't be a League of Legends stream without some bugs. So thank you, Dark Virus, for coming in with his own season of casting as well. And hopefully see you guys same time next week. See you later.